Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have a model showcase for you guys. I haven't done one of these in a while. Lately, I have still been working on trains, but I've been mostly posting my projects and various stuff on my Instagram because I don't feel like a lot of the projects or pictures I take really warrant a video. And also just, recording videotapes of everything you're working on tends to take a while and slows down my progress. And sometimes I just want to, relax, play a podcast, and work on some trains. So that's why I haven't really been posting much in terms of projects or model showcases on my YouTube, but I'm hoping to change that with this video here. This is something that I think might be able to help some people out there, on the work I did on this engine, and or just maybe entertaining for some people to watch. So yeah, this engine here in particular is an Athearn Genesis Santa Fe War Bonnet F7. These things are iconic, of course, and as a Santa Fe modeler, this is one of the reasons I model Santa Fe's, because I love the look of this engine and I had to get one. This is something actually I got from a long time ago when I was still a kid. I found this insane deal on eBay, which was really terribly listed, of an AB set Genesis, of course, the later run with the the grab irons and stuff like that. It was a late run blue box Genesis F7s. It was an AB set with factory installed Tsunami sound for $200. So of course I snatched it, and I've loved this engine for I've loved running this guy. I've kind of damaged a few areas here and there because I was kind of negligent for a while there, but I've grown up, and I think I'm more delicate with my engines now. But anyways, this engine is a well-loved engine. It's something that I've owned for a long time, but I never really did much work on them. Never really felt the need to, but recently I figured, I was going to replace the decoder with Tsunami 2 decoder, just because I figured it was, I had one on hand. I was like, I might as well put it in here. Yeah, this engine, and when I did the Tsunami 2 upgrade, I figured I'd upgrade a few more things, so I fixed a few of the detail parts, and I figured I'd completely revamp the lighting package. So from the default back then, as you guys know, Athearn Genesis used 1.5 volt bulbs. They looked pretty cool. They're not the brightest, light bulbs, and they tend to burn out really often. And on this engine, they fortunately, actually, I think two of them burnt out a while ago, but I replaced them. But for the most part, they run fine, or the lights work fine. But with the Tsunami 2 decoder, I figured if I'm going to spend this money and time on this engine, might as well upgrade the lights as well. So yeah, this engine has a lot of lights from the factory. In the front, they have the headlight and the Mars light and the emergency light. They all worked. The number boards and class lights didn't work, and the rear had one of these things. Santa Fe historically would put a small little red light on the rear of their engines, which I believe was like a yard light. Basically, if that light was on, or that light had to be on if your engine was sitting idle in a yard, just to say that it was there. That's why a lot of the Santa Fe steam engines on the tenders, on the rear of the tenders, you'll see a small little light, and if it does have one, it's red. Also, some of them had a regular separate rear light, of course, which is white, but if they have a small little red one, or a small little light, it should be red. That's what it's for. But this guy has it. But originally from the factory, this thing was actually just a plain white bulb, so it was actually wrong. So the original lighting package was pretty good. I liked it overall. I really liked the look of the bulbs. I felt like those look really good, just like the real engine. If I removed the bulbs and just had holes with LEDs behind them, I thought it looked really bad. And so the way I went about replacing the bulbs was actually breaking the bulbs intentionally. So if I show you a photo here, this is a bulb that's intact, and what I did was I intentionally broke the bulb, the outer glass off. You can see the outer glass is there, and that's the internals of it. I threw this stuff out, and I just kept the little glass ends, the glass, I guess, housing of each of the bulbs, and I basically just glued them back into, each of the holes. So I pulled all the bulbs out and kept the little glass ones. I glued them all back in, as you can see there. So you can it still preserves the appearance of the outer glass bulb lens. However, it's an LED behind there now. Now on the rear light, because it came with a regular white bulb, and also I don't really care for having the bulb. It didn't look nearly as good in this housing. In the front, I thought it was more important. So the rear light, I just basically filled it in with gallery glass. So that's something I need to really show you guys real quick is gallery glass. This is basically a sort of glue, which can also be used to form lenses. It's a glue that dries completely clear if you get this one, and these are obviously colored. But the idea is that you can use it to tint your glass. You can also form lenses with it. So that's what I did here, was I used the red gallery glass, which again, dries completely clear. Well, obviously red, but translucent. But if you just like use a little Q-tip or a little toothpick and form a bubble here, it just dries up and it turns into a lens. So that's exactly what this is right here. It's just a really thin layer of basically look like basically like a lens. So this stuff is really useful for making lenses. It's also really useful for coloring your lights, of course, the different color ones. And also it's useful just as a glue, like a clear glue. And so that's what I used to glue the bulb or the glass parts of the bulbs back into the holes. And of course I put the clear plastic lens on the outside back on as well. And yeah, that's how you have the appearance of the bulbs. And then after that, you just basically glue the LED behind it. I used a bunch of 04, they're called 0402 LEDs. I don't know. Here they are. They look like this. They're little tiny SMD LEDs. They're really, really small. You just barely see them in there. They're absolutely tiny. There's like 10 of them in there. But they're really, really small LEDs. If you guys are new to the channel, you'll know that I put these into my steam engines as well. They're just a really small bulb and really convenient for putting things in. These are warm white, and as I said, they're 0402. That's the size of them. Believe it or not, they go even smaller, but this is small enough for me. They're like a size of a piece of dust, basically. But basically, I just glued them, again, using gallery glass. I used the clear stuff to glue it behind on the inside. And then I just put a layer of, black paint over it to prevent light bleed from behind. So, when the Mars light goes off, it doesn't light up the interior. You don't want that. But basically, I just put multiple layers of this and then multiple layers of that to prevent light bleed and also to secure the LEDs in place. So that would look something like this at the end. It ended up looking something like this. So this is obviously the inside of the shell. You can see the wires where the LEDs came out of, and you can see the black and, gallery glass, like glue that I used to mount them. So yeah, that was a very secure way of mounting the bulbs. I also used some Kapton tape to kind of hold it in place as it was drying, but that's not really necessary afterwards. For the rear light, as I said, I just used a little bit of the gallery glass, which forms that great. That's before, so you can see the old glass bulb there, and it just kind of looked bad. So I just replaced it with the gallery glass lens, which I think looks better. But yeah. So that's the process, is just replacing a whole bunch of things. As I said, one of the upgrades I did besides replacing LEDs was making this red, so it's more prototypical. One more thing I did was actually make these class lights work. So I don't really care for number board lights, and also these don't shine through, like these don't go through into the body. So in order to light these up, you'd have to remove these pieces off of the shell and drill a hole and etc. And that's too much work for me. So I also don't care for them. So I never bothered lighting these up, but I figured while I had the shell open and doing the upgrade anyways, I'll try to get these class lights to work. These conveniently just, the clear lenses went straight through into the shell. So what I did was I just, basically colored some of the same LEDs with some green gallery glass to make them, green. And then I just did the same procedure of mounting the LED using clear gallery glass and using black paint on the back to secure them in place. So now this engine has an upgraded, light package to LEDs, but also has a few more lighting features, and it's also a little more accurate with the color in the back. I don't know if I have any more photos of this. Oh, one thing is I used, one cool little trick I did was I used Kapton tape to basically, I'd bundle the wires up and then hold them together with Kapton tape. So this, I could also just trim the wires, but I was kind of lazy to do that. Also, it's kind of nice to have extra length of wire, so you can, if you need to, you can remove the shell even further because you have a longer wire. But yeah, Kapton tape is a great way to just kind of organize your wires. So I rolled them into bundles. I also put a little bit here, basically to tie all these wires up, so it was easier for it to thread the wires through this little front hole here. That's where the wires are supposed to go, through the interior here, like through this front hole. And having the little Kapton tape just kind of prevented the wires from all going all over the place and making sure they went through this hole and threaded through the front, so you don't see the wires inside the interior, which is nice. Definitely something nice to have. So yeah. So now we have an engine with pretty good wire management. That is something that kind of happens when you have so many lights, is you end up having a lot of wires. So good wire management's key. You want to make sure the wires don't go, get sucked underneath the flywheel or into the motor or whatever like that. So that's really important. Also, you don't want anything to short. So you can see I put some Kapton tape around various areas just to prevent it from shorting. But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think I did many other upgrades to this engine. As I said, I kind of got the best of both worlds. I got the good appearance of the glass bulbs in the front here, but I still got the LEDs inside for lighting them up. So now they're a lot brighter and they'll last longer, but also they still look great, from the front. So if you ever wanted to, do the similar kind of upgrade to your engines, you obviously don't have to reuse the bulbs, but I figured that was a cool way to kind of, keep the lens appearance of bulbs while still using LEDs. So hopefully that's helpful for someone out there. Hopefully someone has a similar desire, or if you want to, if you have a similar desire as me and want to do that, this is a creative way of, going about that. So yeah, hopefully this video was helpful for someone out there, or at the very least it was entertaining to y'all. But yeah, that's pretty much it for me. At the really end of this video, I'll attach some clips of this thing running and you can see the lights work. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Oh, one more thing is the emergency light. I tied that to the emergency stop button. So now, each of these, the other lights has its own, function output, or, function button mapped, but the emergency stop light is only tied to the e-stop button, which I thought was a cool little trick. that was kind of cool, I thought. So anyways, that was something interesting I thought I'd share also. But yeah, anyways, so I hope this video is helpful for someone out there. And I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know down below. I'll try my best to answer all of them. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys enjoy the running clips or lighting clips of this thing. And I hope all my hard work pays off. So, or I hope you guys enjoy how this engine looks now as much as I do. I think it looks great right now. So yeah. Anyways, that's pretty much it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. All right, so first off, we have the headlight, which follows Rule 17 lighting. So if I turn the engine speed up, it gets brighter, and it dims when the engine stops. Next up, we have the Mars light, which is that top LED. In real life, that red, merged on the bottom is a lot darker, not as bright, and not as red as in the camera. But yeah. Next up, we have the class lights, nice and green. Next up, we have the rear red yard light, like that. It is red. I don't know if you could tell. It is very red. There's a little bit of light bleed. I'll fix that later, but yeah, it is red. Trust me on that. And then finally, if I turn on the e-stop or the emergency button, that red light will turn on. It's flickering in the video, but in real life it's a very smooth flashing sequence, just like a Mars light. But yeah, and then if I turn the e-stop back off, all the other lights will turn back on, and the emergency light obviously will turn back off. So yeah, this engine looks great now in my opinion. But yeah.